Fred Gaber from North Massapequa, New York. Good morning, America.
Morning, Fred. Morning, everybody. I'm David Hartman.
And I'm Joan London. It is Thursday, the 1st of March.
It's here. Yeah. March is here. Almost 2 years ago, this March 1st, the airline industry was shocked when one of the biggest lines, Braniff, went bankrupt. One reason given was the increase in competition, which was caused by the deregulation of airlines, or came about as the result of deregulation. This morning, Braniff is going back into the air. Deregulation has helped give the airline another try. In a few minutes, John Stossel will explain what deregulation has meant to the airlines and as importantly, to millions of people who fly. And we are going to talk with the president of the new Braniff. We will also find out about the huge blackout last night from Oregon down to the Mexican border and why and how that happened.
And Senator Alan Cranston is going to be with us. He is the first Democrat to drop out of the presidential race. We'll see how he thinks the race is going to shape up now. Then later in the hour, Ann Margaret. And we will hear the arguments about whether executions should be televised.
And that's just one of many places in our country where non-smokers have gotten laws to protect them on the books. This raises some larger issues about an individual's personal freedom and just where the government should and should not step in. Rita Addison is the spokesperson for the Group Against Smoking Pollution in Massachusetts, GASP. She favors government controls. William Safire, columnist for the New York Times, he is against government controls, and he is joining us this morning from Washington, and I might tell you that neither of these people smoke, by the way. Good morning, Ms. Addison. Nice to have you. Mr. Safire, good morning. Now, Ms. Safire, you don't smoke. I'm sure that people come up and blow smoke on you or in the elevator, smoke around you, and you probably don't like it. So what's wrong with opposing some regulations to prevent it?
Well, let me tell you where I come from, or I'm coming from. I'm not only a non-smoker, I gave it up at the behest of my daughter's pleas 10 years ago. I think it causes cancer. I think it causes heart disease. I think it causes bad breath. It's bad. And anybody who smokes is a jerk. So I'm no creature of the tobacco lobby. But this is a free country. You're allowed to be a jerk. And when the government comes in and says, well, you can't smoke in the workplace or you can't smoke in public places, the next step is you can't smoke at all. And I think that limits your personal freedom. I think the smoker now is becoming a part of a minority group who is being oppressed.
All right, but what do you do personally if somebody's smoking around you and you don't like what they do? I mean, how do you deal with it if...
Well, if it's a public place and it's beginning to bother me, I say, would you please stop smoking? It's beginning to bother me. Most of the time, people are nice enough to say, okay. Once in a while, if you're on an airplane and you turn to your seatmate and say, would you please stop smoking because it bothers me. If in that rare instance when they say, no, I like to smoke, you can equally politely say, well, it kind of makes me sick sometimes, and you take out that little airbag and you turn toward them, and it stops them from smoking.
All right, there it is, Ms. Addison. We should leave this in the the privacy of our relationships and say, hey, please don't do it. And courtesy, most of the time, will do it. Or you say to the other person, hey, we'll threaten you. What's wrong with that? Why just go to the law and say the government's got to step in here again?
Well, first of all, I think that if something like a courtesy or consideration could have done it, which was the tobacco industry's public relations line first put out about 2 decades ago, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be talking about a major public health problem, which is what exposure to other people's smoke constitutes. I think that one of the major differences that I have with Mr. Safire is that these laws and our entire position in the non-smokers' rights movement is that we're not saying that people should or should not smoke, only where they smoke. I think that the San Francisco decision was a positive and a major shift in the perception of the public as to what smoking does to non-smokers.
But what about the rights of, as Mr. Safire suggests, what about the rights of the smoker? Infringement here.
I think that there is no way in the world that you could logically say that a right of a smoker also extends to forcing smoke into the lungs and bloodstreams of the 3 out of 4 Americans who are non-smokers who are around that smoker in public places. And I think what you have to see is that smoking is very unique. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It's not like taking a piece of sugarless gum or an alcoholic drink. Once a person lights up a cigarette into the limited airspace that we all have to share in public places, Do you know what goes up? 2,000 constituents plus, including carbon monoxide, benzopyrene, and EDB. EDB was used as a pesticide on tobacco up until last summer.
All right, well, Mr. Sapphire was agreeing with you. It's bad. As he said, anybody who smokes is a jerk, and it affects you all. What happens when you have the rights of two people clashing right here, and both are correct in a sense? What do you do? How do you resolve
I think what you do is you opt out for the public health, because indeed, if you are providing, as San Francisco does, and as other ordinances in Minnesota and other states do, an area where smokers can smoke without polluting, without forcing the health hazard on non-smokers, then indeed you solve the problem.
All right, let's stop right there. How about that? Sapphire, huh?
I don't think there's any proof, the way there is in smoking, that other people's smoke causes cancer in non-smokers. I think what you have here is a much bigger issue. It's the issue of what shall we do with people who annoy us. Now, smokers annoy us. Noisy people annoy us. People who eat too much garlic are annoying. There's not a health hazard there, but essentially people who are militant about getting other people not to annoy them are going too far. They're going to the government, they're organizing pressure groups, and what they're doing is forcing other people to be likable to them. And I think that limits our personal freedom, and it's wrong.
Phil Sapphire, thank you. Reed Allison, thank you. And Good Morning America continues after more news and weather.